No, you could say that, but I think when you go back and you look at it, at the end of the day, the issues that we had, especially in short yardage, didn't have to do with DJ or Trevor. We had some breakdowns up front, some technical issues. We missed a throw on a 3rd and 3 down there in the red zone. Also, we missed on a 3rd and 7. We missed a protection pickup. The back and the center weren't on the same page. We had Cornell coming open for a touchdown. So I don't know if Trevor would have directly impacted those plays. I think it's the supporting cast around him needed to do some things better. But we understand going into this game, there's several things we got to do better. We got to establish a running game. We got to be efficient running the football. We weren't very efficient. We got to do some things to help our guys, and really we just got to play better in the interior of the offensive line. We've really been challenging those guys during this open week to get healthy and to get back to playing cohesively inside, so that we can stay effective in the run game. And in 3rd down, all across the board, everybody just has to buckle in, be locked in on the situation, know the details of each play that we're trying to run, so that we can go out and execute.
Tony, this is Larry Williams. Was Travis banged up in that game?
Not in that game. He towards the end of the game he took a shot on his knee, but he played through it. But that was late in the game. So I would say no, he wasn't banged up. I think the effects took place after the game, but he played the whole game. And I think the shot he took on his knee was deep in the game. He was able to play through it, and in the next couple of weeks, he had to work himself back.
Hey Tony, this is Will Vanderbilt. Where you say he's at now? How close to 100% is he?
Travis looks good to me. I thought that you saw it the last couple of games that he was confident in it. When you look at the play versus Pitt, where he spins in the hole, lets me know when he's comfortable. When I see him spinning, then I know that he's back to 100%.
Tony, this is Pete at AP. Overall, how did the guys come off this open week? Is everybody in a good place, a good spot, healthy and ready to go?
I believe so. Last night was an opportunity for us to get together and just kind of set the focus for the week. Watch the previous game as an entire offense, looking at the good, the bad, the ugly, kind of setting the mindset and the tempo for what we need to get accomplished in practice this week. Haven't seen the guys yet today. They've been working out. We get them this afternoon. We'll have a practice, but everybody came back. Looked like had a good look in their eye. Understood what's at stake, but also more importantly, understood what we needed to do every day this week to be prepared to play our best on Saturday.
Obviously, the open week was unique, but I guess everything this year has been unique, and it's just another thing that you guys have to handle, right?
Right, 2020. This is the first time that we've had an opportunity to have a bye week, and same thing with Notre Dame. They got an open week prior to this game. Biggest thing is you're 20 weeks in. It seems like I think that's 20 weeks now that we've been going. So you got to be careful not to do too much. So really an emphasis on, getting our guys to a point to where they feel good, they're healthy, they got spring in their legs, but then also making sure that we understand some of the shortcomings in the previous game, and then also make sure that we have, enough of the things that we need to be successful in this game. So it's kind of a balancing act this late in the season with an open date before the championship.
Hey, Coach Trevor, go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say, I know you guys weren't pleased with the way you ran the ball the first time against Notre Dame, but the matchups that you were able to have this with on the outside and the way you passed the ball, does that give you some confidence? And did you like what you saw there?
I think that the guys definitely, and I think that was kind of the start of Cornell's coming out party, making those plays. Actually, I think maybe a week before or so, he was really starting to hit his stride. So really feel good, about the matchups. Anticipate that they're going to do some things possibly different, but at the same time, they're going to do what they do. So it's going to be, a situation, their structure forces you to either be efficient with your underneath throws and be patient, or you got to take a shot down the field. And unfortunately, we hit on some big shots. Not saying that's a guarantee for the next time we play, but, it gives us a little bit of confidence that we were able to throw the ball. And biggest thing is challenging our guys. No one's effectively run the football versus Notre Dame. You understand the structure that you're going against. It's a very disciplined veteran team, especially in the front, in the front seven guys. And then they support the run very well with their safety and their nickel Sam. But you got to be effective. And so biggest thing for us is really, just learning from the last game and understanding that it's not big things. It's just the little things. It's your footwork. It's your hand placement. It's your eyes. It's your communication. So really honing in on those things. I think if we can run the football effectively, then that's going to give opportunity to some of the other aspects of our offense. Whereas last game kind of short field position was an issue. We started the first play on the -6, and we had several backed up drives, where you're trying to come out of a hole. So the importance of all those guys on special teams, making sure that we don't put offense in the hole, So there's a lot of things that we learned from that last game. And the biggest challenge is to make sure that those guys, stay focused and take ownership and then improve upon it and see, can we go out and we can play our best come Saturday.
Hey, Tony, it's David Hood. Do you feel like you'll have a full complement or close to a full complement of wide receivers in this one to, maybe get Ladson and then Gotta back?
We'll know more this week, on those guys. I anticipate that Joe may be a little bit longer because he is coming off of surgery. Optimistic about Frank, but still we got a week to go. Got to get those guys back involved. So not sure, what our situation is going to be, but what we got is what we got, and we're going to go into it. And obviously 17's got to continue to lead us. 3's got to lead us. Lean on number 6, to make some big plays, some clutch plays like he's been doing, and get 13 involved. 84, 88, got to be special. And then the running backs also got to be special, both in the pass game and the run game and from a protection standpoint. So we're going to need whoever we got. That's who we got. And we're going to do the best we can with them.
Hey, Tony, Lawton Swan, how is the preparation for a team a second time around different in, and also I would add just from the chess match of what they might have shown you before that you may not see again? I mean, how do you walk through that and how unique is this?
I think the first week, you kind of focus on some of the things that you did in the game that you got to do better. And then by the end of the week, you're kind of seeing if there's any differences between when you played them and then the 3 games in between, that they played. And obviously they had a couple of wrinkles that were a little bit different that you got to plan for. And then, like I told the guys, I said, we got to know our plan, know what our plan of attack is, but then also we got to be ready to adjust because they got a week in it. I mean, they got 2 weeks just like we got. They're gunning for the same thing we're gunning for. So if we have to know our plan first and foremost, and then just be ready to adjust in game. But again, same thing for us. Just try not to do too much. I mean, at this point, man, these guys have gotten us here by playing hard. And now if we can just clean up the little things and be ready for some new adjustments, then we'll be ready to go play.
Coach, it's Trevor again. In that first meeting, how much wear and tear do you think there was on your offensive line? Those starters were averaging well into 80 snaps going into the game. Of course, now you've had a week off, and Virginia Tech game, I think they had 40 some snaps. How big of a benefit could that rest be?
Right, going into it, those guys are playing just, for example, you look at Jackson. Jackson ended up playing almost 100 snaps in that game between what he did on offense and then what he did on special teams. And prior to that, they were playing most of the game because of some of the games dictated that. And, and I think that the situation where we had a couple weeks ago where we were geared up to play and we didn't play, kind of is a silver lining and a blessing in disguise there because you don't have the wear and tear on those guys' body. And then as we've gone, deeper into the season, we've been able to get some more guys some opportunities to play just a little bit and then having this week off. So definitely feel like our guys are geared up and ready to go. Obviously, they're not going to feel as good as they did the first day they come out in fall camp. That's the nature of the game of football. You're never going to feel your best in season, but I think that Coach did a great job of managing the schedule with these guys to try and get them as fresh as possible so they can go out there and lay it on the line.
Tony, this is Grace Rayner from The Athletic. You guys have obviously seen Trevor in a lot of massive games, but I wanted to ask you, what do you guys learn about him each time over the years the stakes get a little bit bigger?
I think it's just confirmation of who he is. And what you learn is that he's continuing to stay true to the preparation process so that he can go out and perform. Same thing each time you come out of the game, he already knows the things he wants to work on, the corrections that he has to make, which challenges us as coaches. So biggest thing is just confirmation more so than learning anything. It's just confirmation that this young man is really staying true to the process. He's true to every word that he says, that he's focusing on his teammates. He's not putting individual, accolades at the forefront. All he wants to do each week is go out, play his best so he can help his team win.
Anything else for Coach Elliott?
Tony, with Trevor being back, is there anything that him being an older quarterback who's seen everything, was there any read stuff or anything like that he could maybe have a better handle on that DJ maybe missed any reads or anything like that?
I thought DJ did a great job. The only thing that may have gone a little bit different is Trevor may have had a little bit more confidence to pull a couple of his own reads because there were some great looks. When you slow it down at the mesh point, I mean, you can always, in real time say, oh, he should have pulled it. When you slow it down at the mesh point, there were some great looks. It was kind of an either or. And maybe Trevor has a little bit more confidence because he's been in those situations to pull that ball to help make the offense right. I think Trevor probably would have made the same read on one of our RPOs where he was reading the safety, and the safety was deep, and so he took a chance on it. So I don't know if you'd say that DJ made any bad reads that I think Trevor would make differently, other than I think Trevor may have a little bit more confidence in the run game, just controlling the perimeter with some of our outlets, and then maybe a couple of situations where he might have pulled it because he has a little bit more confidence with his experience in the zone read game.
Hey, Tony, this is Anna with Clemson 24/7. I know the sample size isn't huge, but have you seen Notre Dame do anything differently defensively in the past couple of games since you played them last?
Syracuse, looks like in Syracuse they played they brought a little bit more pressure with some variations of coverage behind it, but that's really about it. I mean, those guys are really, really good at what they do. I think that their defensive coordinator does a great job of coordinating everything. The guys, know where they need to be, where they need to fit. Coverage matches the pressure. Coverage matches the front in terms of where they're stunting. The linebackers plug gaps, and so it seems like they're very, very sound. So the only thing I can say that was different is there might have been two different pressures in the Syracuse game. Or let me put it this way: they played a different coverage behind those pressures that we hadn't seen. But it's still in the family of what you expect out of those pressures. So that's about it.
And then on a different topic, I know Clemson's obviously being painted as going into this game with a chip on their shoulder because they lost the first matchup. Is it something you talk to your guys about, or even Coach Sweeney talks to the guys about how they're going to come with a chip on their shoulder just because of the chatter that, oh, well, Clemson didn't have Trevor Lawrence or Clemson was missing these defenders? Is that something that you guys plant in your guys' mind?
No, for us, it's all about Clemson and how we play. And we understand that we didn't play our best football at times during that game. We got some things to clean up, and we're not really focused on how they're going to come into the game. We expect everybody's best. So we expect everybody coming in with a per se quote, a chip on their shoulder because they're playing Clemson. So we're not really focused on, how their mindset's going to be. We're focused on what our mindset needs to be. We've been in games like this before. We understand what it takes, and we have to make sure that we do a great job the rest of this week to get ourselves ready to play our best football for 4 quarters come Saturday afternoon.
Hey, Tony, David with ESPN. Did you see Notre Dame play schematically, defensively different than you might have expected had Trevor been on the field? Like, did they approach the game as if, hey, we're going to shut down the running game and make this freshman quarterback beat us? Or did they play more or less like you expected?
They played about how I expected. They did. They stayed true to what they do. And again, they try to stop the run on everybody. If you go back and you look, that's what they're built for. They're built to stop the run. They're guys inside, man. They eat up double teams. They don't let your offensive line get off on the backers. The backers are keyed in on their keys, and as soon as they see their keys, they trigger. And then they play, cover 4 and one high structure on the back end. So didn't see anything different per se because it was DJ versus Trevor. They're going to do what they do, and they're really, really good at it.
And the other thing I wanted to ask you, I think from day one, people said Trevor Lawrence is NFL-ready quarterback. I'm sure that was a bit overblown, but as he's gone through this year, a year that he really fought to play, is there things you have seen out of him or that you wouldn't have seen in the past? Is there ways he's developed this year by playing this season that he might not have had otherwise?
I think consistency in his decision-making. He's got confidence to make every throw, but he's not forcing throws, which you may have saw earlier in his career. His footwork in the pocket has really, really, really been more consistent. He's not moving around in the pocket, as much as he's done in the past. So those are things that you see, and then just his commitment to the preparation process. And I think when you talk about somebody being pro ready, to me, in my mind, it has more to do with their mentality and their approach to the preparation process as it does with their talent. Talent is important, but even going back to Deshaun, you described Deshaun as a pro because of the work that he put in the preparation process mentally and the way that he practiced every single day. In my opinion, is what makes him and what makes Trevor, guys that are pro ready because they understand what it takes to be successful far before they actually get to that point in their career where they're playing at the professional level.
Got time for about 1 or 2 more for Coach.
Hey, Tony, it's David again. Matt Bockhorst called Owasu a cement head. Said if you don't know where he's lined up, he'll lay a lick on you. How do they use him, and what makes him such a force at linebacker?
Now you're referring to number 6. Is that because the first part of your question was a little bit unclear?
Yeah, number 6.
Number 6. Oh man, he's a fantastic football player. He's what you would want at that position. He's very, very instinctive, very, very quick twitch, and he's violent. So again, he's an older guy that's played a lot of football. He knows how to prepare, so he's studying the tackles. He's studying anything he can to find and get tips. And as soon as he recognizes run, man, he's coming like a heat-seeking missile. So you got to have an opportunity. You got to have somebody accounting for him. And again, when you're in the RPO family, sometimes things don't marry up to where the quarterback's opening up. And, if you give this guy, any kind of tip or you give him an opportunity to trigger, he's going to trigger. So he's just an outstanding football player that plays the right way. He plays aggressive. He plays physical. And you could tell he's a smart football player.
We'll take one more.
Tony, it's Matt again. With EJ, I think he only played 26-ish snaps, or 28 maybe. Was there anything going on with him, or physically was he okay? And then how important is it to have him step up with probably a lot of attention being paid to Cornell and Amari?
Critical. Now, there was nothing. We only had 52 snaps overall, and a guy that we've been trying to, get involved, keep engaged is Speck, number 13. So Gris did a good job of trying to rotate those guys, get them some snaps. So there was nothing wrong with EJ. But going forward, him and Speck both are going to have to step up for us, because again, people are going to key in on what Cornell's doing. Now you got to respect what he's done over there into the boundary, and then you also got to respect what Amari's doing in the slot. And I think that opens up opportunities for those guys going forward. And we're going to need both EJ and then also Speck to be able to not just play behind EJ, but then also roll in a little bit behind Amari, and then vice versa. Amari may have to go outside, Speck inside. So again, we need those guys to be very, very versatile. Which is tough on a young guy, because it's a lot of stuff to process. It's a lot of information each week that changes a little bit. But proud of EJ thus far, proud of Speck as well. But going back to the game, it was just a function of a limited snap count overall with offense, and then just trying to get some Speck some opportunities to keep him rolling and keep him progressing the way we want him to.